Hello, hello. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to another episode of To the Moms. We're your hosts, Kathy and Amaris. Happy Thursday, everyone. How are you
Happy
doing?
Thursday, guys.
How is everyone's week going?
What do we have planned this weekend?
What do we have planned?
Let's see, by the time this... Actually, I have nothing this weekend.
The,
No plans.
Joelle has a soccer tournament in Hamilton.
Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Like by me, Hamilton?
How you, Hamilton? He has
Do
it
you
the
want to
whole
come
weekend.
over or
I'm
no?
thinking about it because Blue suggested it.
Yeah.
We have to figure out, I don't know if
Oh,
I don't know what the deal is. If it's like
yeah.
both days, if it's one of the days, but yeah, we'll probably go one of the days. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since we've done an episode of In My Son's World. As you guys know, Amaris's journey with her autistic son Thane. She hasn't given us an update in a while, so today will be part 3. How has your journey been so far this year?
This year, when I was writing notes for that episode, I was like, my message for this episode is, you are your child's advocate, no matter what. You are their voice. You are their person when something needs to be brought up, something needs to be changes, because a lot of changes did happen this year. And we're going to go through them one by one. A lot has happened. A lot of changes has happened. And at the end, like when all these changes were happening, I felt defeated. I felt like a terrible mom until I kind of sat back, was taking down notes and realized like, no, I spoke up for my child. I advocated for my child when the time needed for me to like act. So I know the last time we left off, I think it was October, December. I can't really remember.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say
it's been a while. School is now over. He's now in extended school year, which my district offered that to Thane because they don't want him regressing. So like that's nice. He continues his speech and OT services in school, which is like great because that's like the more services he gets, the better. So whether I left off in October or December, I remember discussing how like I'm not a fan of his teacher right now because she doesn't communicate to us. She doesn't send us weekly or bi-weekly. Like there's no communication unless she like needs something from us. That's it. Yeah. So that pretty much went on until she left. She left, I think, in the middle of February. The day before she left, we received a notice saying like, hey, your child's teacher is leaving.
It was like out of the blue.
It was just out of the blue, out of nowhere. And all of the parents, we were like, what do you mean? So they're going to have a substitute teacher. And like, that's what happened. I think for 60 days, they had a sub. And
the same person, like the same sub or different subs?
They from that letter, it said a consistent substitute teacher would be there.
Because that's really important,
right,
for children, especially autistic children.
Right,
having that consistency, seeing that familiar face every single day.
And that was a lot of the parents' concerns. Like, we were all concerned, like, how is our children's behavior going to be? Is the IEP going to be followed? Are they actually going to be learning anything?
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah, so we were all thrown in a limbo, and we were all just confused as to what happened. Like, why is this teacher leaving? I had a mom friend that reached out. She found the teacher on Facebook, reached out to her, and was like, why are you leaving? Like, if this is just, she did, because she's like, my son needs consistency and X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Allegedly, the teacher had told her that she wasn't allowed to tell the parents. She's been knowing this for a long time, and the district prevented her from telling us anything. Whether that's true or not, it kind of was just like, it kind of makes sense now when we were like, hey, we want to start potty training. Like, we've been doing it at home. Now we want to continue it in school. And she was on the fence with it. And I didn't like that. She pretty much said that he had to be successful in order to start doing potty training in the classroom. And I was just like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So this was before she had left in February. I think this was like December. We had a kindergarten orientation thing. I forgot what it's called. And his case manager was there. And the whole purpose of this meeting was to let us know, parents of children who are on an IEP, like how the process works. They had to be reevaluated. Whatever determination, classification they were going to get will determine what school they would be going to. So at the end of the meeting, I went up to this case manager and I was like, hey, let's talk about potty training. Like, what are we supposed to do as parents if he's in school all day? She was like, what do you mean? And then we ended up telling her like what the teacher had told us. And she was like, well, that makes no sense. If he's successful at home, that's not potty training. Then he has mastered the skill. And I was like, okay, so what do we do moving forward? And she was like, don't worry, I'm going to go talk to the teacher. And parents' night was like just like that a week away. And the teacher was like, so I spoke to my supervisor, which is like the case manager, and you guys are the boss. I would do whatever it is that you want me to do for potty training.
Like whatever you feel comfortable with, is what she's saying?
No, it kind of just seemed like I got told what to do and I need to follow what you want me to do. So I'm going to do whatever it is that you want me to do. So we didn't like that because it's like, you were very hypocritical when we first met you and we were telling you like, hey, potty training. She was like, yeah, we can do it. And then when it came time like, hey, we are comfortable to transition into the classroom, you're like, no. So we didn't like that, how she was like that. So we opted not to do any potty training during the school year.
So much pressure to the parents too. Like I can't even imagine how you guys must have felt. Like that's hard.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. And even talking to like his outside providers, like we want to start potty training, but his teacher doesn't have her back, and they were like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like daycare centers, once you start potty training, it carries on over in these daycare centers and they work with you. So the fact that your son's teacher doesn't want to work with you is kind of odd. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like I thought I was going crazy. But anyways, we decided not to do potty training in the school year just because she had that outlook. And then like, that's when February came and she was just like gone. With Thane, he was fine. Like he didn't, he transitioned well, and it's because the same aides were there, the same SLPs, OTs, like everything was you know, the same except for the teacher. So he was fine. He still loved going to school. Everything was fine. Thank like God. There was thank goodness. And I know he was learning because like every week he'll come back, he's saying something new, he's doing something different, he's improving on something. I'm like, all right. This
year he's improved so much, it's insane.
A lot from like a year.
Like you can talk to him. Like it's just it's just really amazing seeing his personality flourish and his language. It's just it's so nice.
It's
smiling and like I don't know. I love it. Every time I see him, it's like, oh my gosh.
No, it's been great. So after 60 days, they finally found a permanent teacher, and she was communicating with us a little bit more, but not as much. But like, I get it. She was only his teacher for like 5 weeks. She's getting to know him, trying to wrap things up.
Time. Yeah.
But for preschool graduation, I wish that could have been his teacher from day one, because the moment I met her, I was like, I love her. Like I just felt that. Like I told her, you know, like for preschool graduation, like I know I'm gonna cry. Please don't mind me. She's like, oh, I'm gonna cry too. And she did, like when she
she's a warm person, like you felt.
Yeah, she's a mom too, and I think you know, I think when you're a mom and you've been in your career for so long, working with kids on the spectrum or different disabilities, you learn to, I don't want to say empathize, but you learn to understand how parents are and like what exactly that they like need.
You're compassionate.
Yes. Yeah. So when she was introducing to the other graduates of Thane, she was like tearing up. She was like, I've only known this little guy for 5 weeks, but I feel like I've been knowing him for the whole school year.
Oh my God.
And she was describing Thane exactly who she was. And I'm like crying. Then she looked at me. She was like, I'm going to give you my email. You ask me any questions you want. I have so much experience for like kindergarten. So if you ever need help, you ever have questions, email me. And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what a teacher is in special education.
Yeah.
This is the prime example of what us parents want. So I really, really love that. So yes, my son graduated preschool. Yes, I cried so much and he was so cute.
I know.
I went to his classroom and all the other aides were like, I'm going to miss him terribly. Like he made coming to work amazing. He's so adorable. Like I love him so much. And they just like,
yeah, like
whatever. And then they said like, Thane doesn't speak much. Like he's gonna grow up being a man who says a few words. Or what's a saying? A man who said there's like a saying like he's a man with few words, something like that. I don't know.
We'll look it up.
We will look it up. But when they said that, I was like, yeah, like that's how I think too. But yeah, so now he's an ESY, and it's a different teacher during ESY, and I love her. I get daily notes. She'll say like, this is what he did. Yeah. This is what he, did, and blah, blah, blah. This is what he had. And then there's like a little box. She gives me like more information. So this past Friday, Thursday, because there's no classes on Friday. She has said that Thane shared a brand new toy with someone else all by himself. That's improvement.
That is improvement. That's amazing.
And I'm like, this is great. This is amazing.
That's huge. Oh.
So the new school year will start, I think, like the first week of September in elementary school. I'm a little nervous.
My God. I mean, I'm nervous for you.
It's kindergarten.
What the heck?
Yeah.
How?
And like a school that's like has different like ages. I think it's up to 5th grade. So I'm just like, okay, we're gonna see how it's gonna be, but I'm gonna have faith.
Yeah, he'll do great though.
He'll be fine. I mean, he's still in a self-contained classroom.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
But still, wow.
Yeah. But we're good. I have a feeling it's gonna be a good school year. So. We'll see. I think ending of August, we get to have like a sneak peek. We get to meet the teacher. He gets to see the classroom, kind of just get acclimated with the new school.
Okay.
I'm not worried of his transition because he transitions really well. Like that's one thing about him.
He can easily.
Yes, he does.
That's good.
Which is amazing. So I'm not too concerned. But that's all I have to say about the school year. I know I'm not missing out anything. So now pediatricians, developmental pediatricians, we switched. For my mental capacity, I had to switch developmental pediatricians because I think it's very unhealthy for me to feel so nervous, for me to feel so anxious, like as the appointment comes, as the time comes for the appointment. Like I don't think as a caregiver, I should feel that way. And I felt that way with
did you feel like shamed?
Like not shamed, almost like I needed permission from his developmental pediatrician.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm remembering. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So like after every appointment, like he would just make vague statements that I'm just like, okay, this isn't something I need to hear. Like you shouldn't put the thought in my head that the school district I'm in is terrible. They never want to help out when all they've been doing is helping out. Yeah. The very first time we met him with Abraham when Thane was 2, he was like, if you had said any other school district in South Jersey, I would have been fine. But because you said the town that you're in, I am concerned for you. They like to hold services. Like it was just a bunch of things. And then he had
Can you even say that as a pediatrician?
I don't know if
doesn't that
violate I don't think it violates anything, but I think just saying that my school district isn't great is the problem. I think if he would have said something like,
but it's like, if that's the district that you live in, like, what do you do?
I don't,
like,
right. Like, I can't just get up and move. I think if he said, like, just keep in mind, like, when things happen, and, you know,
he could have said it in a different way, I feel like.
Yeah, like, make sure you understand your IEP rights, make sure you understand what it, like, kind of like motivating me to be like this advocate for my child.
Right. Yeah.
Then I would understand. But because he said this vague statement, and then he like ended it with, I always tell parents the best way you can change a school district is by getting out there and vote. And I'm like,
oh God.
I'm like, okay. And then I was just like, I can't.
What?
I can't. And then I remember
I cannot believe this is coming from a pediatrician. This is wild, Amaris.
It is. And he's like elderly, you know? So I'm like, is it the fact that you're just old?
Maybe.
And you've dealt with many patients in my school district that had issues. So now you have this opinion about my school district.
He's an old timer.
I don't know. But then like, you kind of hear things from like other parents, like, yeah, my school district isn't great and this and that. But I also feel like it's a case by case basis. I also think like, if I as a parent am not putting any effort or just always wanting so much more for my child in public education, I could see, you know, the school district, like, she sounds like a problem. She sounds like she's going to be a problem for us. Like, this is, you know, and like, I hate sounding like that. But I, like, with the whole potty training thing, once I saw how the teacher was, I was like, you know what? I don't like your attitude, so we're not going to do it. I'm going to wait until developmentally my son can do it. And I'll, you know, update on potty training later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to developmental pediatricians, I finally made the call and I switched because I was so nervous telling him that he has a substitute teacher. I didn't bother tell him. I didn't bother telling him.
If you didn't feel comfortable, then
anything, like, why tell him? Because and then I also go through these appointments by myself. So I'm just like, no, because Abraham just cannot stand him. So if Abraham cannot stand him, and, you know, Abraham's very wise, very generous, very, you know, level-headed, I'm like, all right, no, like, I can't. For my mental self, I cannot do this. So I switched.
And how long was he with this pediatrician? 2 years?
Since 2 years old? 3, so maybe 2.5 years. Okay. So for 2.5 years, I would text my best friend like, oh my gosh, I am meeting with this guy again, this telehealth, I'm nervous. She's like, girl, switch. I'm like, the waiting lists are so long, I don't know. So that's why I put up with him for so long, because the waiting list for developmental pediatricians are long, and I didn't want to have to.
So this is probably a dumb question because I'm not sure. So if for an autistic child, they have to see a regular pediatrician and a developmental pediatrician?
Yes.
Not one or the other. They have to see both.
They have to see both, because your regular pediatrician is for when you're sick. Right. Developmental is all about their development.
Like milestones and all that too.
Yeah, or their like disabilities.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know how like I had to go see like a GI doctor. Yeah. Because I had GI. It's pretty much like that. It's a specialist.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I had to see this doctor, I think 3 or 4 times a year. So could you imagine 3 to 4 times a year?
Yeah.
I have to like explain to you like what's happening. And then he'll say things like, don't sign the IEP document without us seeing it first, because if we have to fight, we'll take it to due practice and this and that, yada, yada, yada. And in my mind, I'm just like, there was one time we signed it without him, and he was like, well, you shouldn't.
What?
And I was like, and I looked at Abraham.
Oh my God.
And Abraham chimed in, and he was like, well, we felt comfortable. Like, I thought Amaris had like email. He was like, hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah, but like, if I didn't use the correct terminology of like why we had, you know, signed something or agreed to something, he would be like, that is wrong, yada, yada, yada. So we were both on the same page. But because I didn't say the word like VB map, like he's in a self-contained autism support classroom that does VB map, he wasn't satisfied. Like, I can't remember
He
V
sounds like
being
one of
mad.
those like mean teachers in high school.
You know, yeah, like he almost, like, honestly, the way Abraham described was like he's an older man that likes to be in control. He likes his input for everything. Like, he thinks he's so important that we need to
He thinks
come
he's
to
so
him.
important. Yes,
And he's like, I don't like that. I was like, I don't like that either. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I read the IEP document from front to back, and sometimes I read it twice. And I
to make sure you're not missing anything.
To make sure I'm not missing anything. So it's kind of just like, and I also read the evals, because when you go through the whole evaluation process, they send you the evaluation, and I read that too to make sure that they know who my son is, and they do. So it's like, if I'm comfortable and if dad's comfortable, why do I need your permission for something?
That's so weird.
So yeah, so once I switched, I met with someone else who I think she was new to the business, or not new to the business, new to the company, or had come back from the company.
So how does, sorry to cut you. Yeah. How does it work? Like, if you want to switch, like, are you given like a list of developmental pediatricians in the area? Like, can you do your own research? And like,
I mean, yeah, you could do your own research. Like, you could go on like on your insurance portal and put developmental pediatricians, make sure you filter out to the member that you want to look, and it gives you a list, and then you kind of just do the whole math. I didn't do that. Someone from the same company came back or was new, and I heard from Thane's BCBA that she is amazing. Switch, because
so it's like a referral almost.
No, it's not a referral. All I have to do is call and say, hey, I like to switch developmental pediatricians to X, Y, and Z.
Referral as in like you heard of this person through someone.
Yeah, I heard through his BCBA that she was amazing. And she's like nice. She's like, I had a meeting with her with like one of my clients, and she is nice. So I was like, all right, like at this point, like it can't be worse than what I have.
Yeah.
So I switched, and I had my first visit with her in May. So
that's recent.
That was recent. Yeah. That was like 2 months ago, and I love her.
Yeah.
Off the bat, oh my gosh, I was comfortable. I was spilling everything to her, and I felt so comfortable. And at that moment, you know, I told her that we stopped ABA, and she was like, that's fine. Your son doesn't sound like he has any aggressive behaviors. And then I told her we're not an OT, because like we were really prioritizing speech when my husband lost his job. And she was like, well, what an OT do you want to work on? I was like, I want him to write clearer, write his name clearer, do this, do that. She's like, okay. So, and then she was giving me tips on like what to do. Yeah. Whereas the other one was like, he needs to be an ABA. He needs to be an OT. He needs to do speech. He needs to do that. He needs to do, and I'm just like, you're telling me everything that he needs. And while I understand he needs that, every time I meet with you, it's always the same thing. It's a schedule issue. I'm a stay-at-home mom. There is no one helping me taking care of my other child, who is now 3 at this time. Yeah. I can't take her to every therapy session, because that's not fair to her. What quality of life does she get to have if I'm always taking her to therapy? That's not right for her. But like, he doesn't see it that way. He never saw it as like, you know, it affects everyone in the family. Even affects Abraham's job too. Yeah. You know, so it's like he didn't understand that. Whereas this developmental ped was like, you're a mom, you have this, you have that. She needs attention. So I was like, yo, I feel so validated. She made you feel seen and validated. Yeah, she made you feel seen and validated. That's amazing. Yes. And that's all you needed. That's all I need, because is someone to tell me that.
You were so stressed out about the ABA. Like, girl, you were stressed. You were going to everyone, people in your family, in your circle. Like, am I making the right decision? Should I put him back? Do you quickly want to explain to the listeners why you pulled him out of ABA?
Yeah. So I pulled him out in ABA. And like Kathy said, I was going back and forth with this. But ultimately, what had happened, his BCBA came to our house after Abraham got the job. We got, you know, insurance back up and running. And she pretty much laid out all of our options. Like, you keep ABA and you have to do 15 hours a week. You do parent training, which is pretty much, we focus on one core thing. We want to work on with him, and we just do parent training twice a month, or you get discharged from ABA. In my mind, I was like, well, I want him to do ABA in the summer because he's not going to have much going on in the summer. That couldn't be an option because I couldn't meet the 15 hours of ABA for like during the school year. So
and
because
didn't they increase to like the co-pay you said too?
Oh yeah, that's like another
which is unfair
thing. So because we have new insurance, somewhere down the line there was now a copay for ABA. If I'm doing 15 hours a week for ABA, that's like you do the math.
Yeah.
Who's spending what, like $100? If he has to do it every single day, who's spending $100 a week, $400 a month?
No, that's a lot. That's
for
a lot.
ABA therapy. Yeah. I'm like, this is wild because like ABA right now hasn't been great. Yeah. So we did parent training for like a while, and I was like, I don't need parent training anymore. Like I just don't. And really quickly, what we were working on ABA was taking him out grocery shopping, because I'm like, well, I grocery shop by myself. Like I'm scared to take him. After we did it a couple of times, I was like, this is nothing. Taking him out to like a restaurant, I'm like, okay, this is like nothing. So when it came time to pull him out, his BCBA was trying so hard to like keep us, and I was like, no, like I'm done. And she kept trying and trying and trying, and I'm just like, are you even listening to anything I'm saying? Like, I'm not paying $20 copay for ABA. If I can't have it in the summertime, what's the point? If I can't commit 15 to 20 hours during the school year, what's the point? I'm not switching speech. I love his speech therapist. He's making improvements with his 2 speech therapists that we pay $40 a week for. So I'm just like, no. And she tried so hard, and I think she like misunderstood what Abraham said, like, you know, run me the numbers and we'll see. The next day she was like, okay, so like I'm gonna get started on like finding someone for him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, she was like, I thought Abe said like we're ready to go. And I said, oh, he said that, but he also said about the whole money thing. Yeah. So you can move forward and like discharge him. So now we're not doing ABA.
Do you feel more comfortable with your decision to pull him out?
I do. Because you want to know why? Because I got my boy potty trained all by myself.
There you go.
You know, like that was one thing I wanted him to do last year. Maybe last summer, he wasn't ready.
He wasn't, yeah.
But also, he didn't have someone consistently working with him on that, because he always had a sub. It was always a constant change for him. What child's going to want to pull his pants down and try to go pee-pee or poop-poop in the potty?
No, that's so stressful and overwhelming for a child.
That was overwhelming for me as his mom, that different individuals were like, okay, let's try to like work. Or they weren't working on it with him because it's like different people. So I was like, there's no point right now at this day and age for me to put him in ABA. There have been a couple of times where I'm like, damn, maybe if he was an ABA, he wouldn't be aggressive with his sister. No, if you kind of look, but if you kind of look, Cirilla eggs him on. Like, we can tell her, like, can you please leave him alone? He wants to be alone right now.
Cirilla has no chill. She has no chill.
She does not give any sugar honey iced tea. Oh my gosh. So he has been aggressive with her. Yeah. But I'll, no matter how much you explain, she don't care. So I'm just like, what am I gonna do with her? But no, I don't have any regrets right now with ABA. If ABA works for you, I'm great. I'm proud of you. But for us, it's just not an option right now. Like, they say that he needs 15 to 20 hours a week. I cannot commit to that.
That's a lot.
I cannot commit to that. We did it last year.
And then it's a lot for him too. Like, it's a lot on his schedule.
It's a lot on his, like, so he has,
like, you want him to enjoy his, you want him to be a kid too and enjoy. Yeah, no.
Being a kid, yeah.
Yeah, being a kid.
So, like, when we did it last year, it was a lot. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can, like, continue this, but I'm going to try, because they say ABA is amazing, ABA is great, ABA is this. I got my son potty trained in, like, a week, okay?
Yeah,
an
that's
autistic
amazing.
child.
I'm so proud of you, girl. Like, you finally did it. Finally.
And now he goes by himself. Like,
wow.
Now I do need to work on like him asking, like, can I use the bathroom? Because like in school, they're gonna teach him that. But like,
yeah,
if I could start now, like having him ask on his device, that would be great, because he's not gonna be with Abraham and I 24/7. He could be in school. He could be with my mother-in-law. Heck, he can't even be with like you. He's gonna need to know like, where's the potty? Can I use the bathroom? But right now, baby steps.
Yes.
Baby steps with potty training. So yeah,
potty training is so hard. Sorry.
No. Can we quickly talk about that? It is so hard. Your house needs to stay a mess because you need to be on them like a hawk.
No,
to like see their cues.
Yeah, no, we tried it because obviously Grayson has been showing signs for a long time. I've been telling you this, and Amaris was like, "You should just get him the potty. Like, just try it." I've been trying to like put it off as long as possible because it just seems like a lot of work. And let me tell you, yes, it is. We tried it for 2 days. Honestly, he does great. Like but it's just a lot of work. Maybe I'm not ready.
Maybe.
You know, I think once he starts speaking more, because it's a lot, girl.
It's a lot. No, it definitely is a lot. Like, we tried a couple of times throughout the school year, and he would have like accidents. I'm like, you know what? He's just not ready. He's just not ready. So, but summertime, best believe he's going to be ready.
Yes.
Even if he's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen. And I did. And I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. After the elopement happened, I'm like, all right, that was another thing in ABA that they were trying to work. What is your name? Where do you live? When's your birthday? You ask that boy, he'll be like, my name is Dane. My birthday, June 27th. And then he'll be like, I live on blah blah blah, and I'm like, good. I mean, I have to work on like the numbers, but
he's so cute.
And then I'll be like, what's my name? Your name's Amaris, Abraham, Soraya, and I'm like, good. I did that in a freaking 2 days. ABA what, baby? Tell me. I mean, I might need them in the future to like do other things, but like for right now, I got it, boo boo. I got it. and I felt confident because even when we had ABA last year and we were doing like the 12 hours a week, I would see what's happening. I can come up with different ways to get him to complete something. So I'm just like, okay, I could do this. I just need dedicated time. So
of course.
So I'm trying.
You'll get there. And you're doing amazing, girl. You're doing amazing. Come on, give yourself grace. Like you're doing it.
I do. Like when I'm out and about and like I see him doing things on his own, I'm like, I taught him that.
Yeah.
ABA who? I did that.
Exactly.
I did that. What other changes happened? Oh, OT. So we are back in OT, but I'm gonna call them tomorrow and discharge him.
Really?
Yeah.
We spoke about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But like regarding like the whole lollipop situation, and real quick, like it's not Abraham. Thane dumped goldfish on the receptionist's desk, and come to find out that like that wasn't the receptionist. That's actually like the owner of like the practice that we are at, OT. He was upset that I gave him goldfish instead of a lollipop after his session. And I only had that goldfish with me because I had Cirilla with me, and she saw the goldfish. And I was like, after the session, when I talk to this person, you can get it. Cirilla is very like, okay, it's happening, let's go. You know, so like, just so I can quickly talk to the therapist to see what we can work out at home, she grabbed the goldfish. He was asking for a lollipop. I was like, no lollipop right now, but here's a goldfish. He was pissed, dumped it on the receptionist's desk. And well, on the receptionist's desk that the owner was like sitting on. And he was upset that I was like, nope, you're not going to get a lollipop. Nope, I don't think you can have one. Sorry. She came out, made a comment, was like, no lollipop for you. And then he got even pissed because like he's hearing someone else say it.
Yeah.
Now, before anyone comes at me, I understand my child did something wrong and he needs to be taught that. But like the owner was behind a glass window. Like there's a wall, a glass window. She was behind there. She wasn't nowhere near us for her to be saying anything like that. So I just think, as a person who's an occupational therapist for so many years and you advertise that your company can do autism services, you need some sort of like reality check. Like that's not how you should be.
He's a child. Like,
he's
I'm sorry,
a child.
but kids do things like that, autistic or not.
Right.
And this is a place that kids come into. Like, you.
Right. Like, what? Right. I think, and you know what I think, because she also offers services to like the elderly and adults, like all types of age. Okay. I think she probably lost her touch of like how like autistic kids behave, or just kids in general behave. Yeah, maybe. So, and then also, like, I'm not back there watching them do what they're doing. And it's not like a whole trust issue. It's occupational therapy. Mm-hmm. I have to see what you're doing to understand how to do that at home. Right. So if you're working on scissors, you're working on writing his name, you know, on a line or whatever the case is, I need to be able to see that. You telling me how to do it isn't great. Mm-hmm. So with that, Abraham and I decided, like, no, just on that, plus that whole like incident, it's gonna be a no for us. So I'll call them tomorrow, letting them know we're gonna discharge. I'll mix some shit up. But
it made you feel uncomfortable. And like I had told you before, like that means that every time you go there, you're gonna have to walk on eggshells and have that anxiety every time. No, that's not fair.
And like I didn't, like, when I first told you, I didn't discharge right away. So I was like, let me see, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm being paranoid. But I got the text today to either confirm or cancel the session. And I looked at Abraham as we were driving to my best friend's daughter's birthday party. I was like, so what are we doing about OT? He's like, I thought we had to discuss this. Like, you're going to discharge. First off, he's like, I don't want to pay for money that we're not seeing what they're doing. It's occupational therapy. Like, we need to see that. Yeah. So he's like, cancel. Yeah. Cancel. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to cancel. Now, she was supposed to give me a sensory diet, which is like this schedule that she gives me to test and try to see if it works with things. So like in the morning, to get his, I can't even pronounce these like occupational therapy terminology, but it's like to get the oral input, do this, to get the movement input, do this, to get the auditory, do this, to get. So lucky for me, I ChatGPT that shit. And I was like,
ChatGPT came through.
It came through for me so good that I was like, so not only am I a mommy, I'm a chef, I'm a maid, I'm a ABA therapist. I can't be speech, but I could be a speech therapist. Now I'm an occupational therapist. There you go. There you go. So it got your assistant. I got my assistant, ChatGPT. So I'm like, okay, so like this is what a sensory diet is. And then I texted to like a family member of mine who is in the field, and I'm like, screenshot, like, is this kind of like what the template is? She was like, yeah, it is. I'm like, bet.
Did you try any of this stuff yet, or
not yet? Because I need to like full on read it. But all in all, it's kind of just like when they wake up, do heavy work or do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, so I need to understand my son and really like observe him. But he wakes up too early in the morning for me to be like, all right, let me use my brain, you know. But I know once in the morning he's ready to go. But since the playroom and his bedroom are together, which, by the way, guys, I brought my kids their own beds. I know. Brand new mattresses. And I put them in the playroom. I made a little play area for them. This way my husband and I have our own space. So far, so good. But it's baby steps with them sleeping by themselves. They are willing to sleep in their beds by themselves. We amazing. Get to leave, and then in the middle of the night they come looking, like they would come to our bed and be like,
that's great. That's our situation right now.
Right.
But it's better than
like nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it so takes time, like, girl.
Right. And I think that's also like the message in this episode is timing is everything. Be patient. Take your time. And things will fall into line.
Things will work out the way they're supposed to.
Yes. I am grateful that the many things I want to work on with him, he's receptive and he is doing the best that he can.
Yeah.
And like, that's all I could ask for.
That's all you can ask for. And he's older now too. Like, he's understanding things a little bit better too. So it's a little bit easier in some aspects, you know?
Right, because he understands now. Whereas maybe last year, maybe he wasn't motivated to understand, or maybe he just developmentally could not understand, which is fine.
Right.
It's all about the timing, and just be patient.
Yeah.
Just be patient. But yeah, I think that's all, like, the changes that happen.
That was an awesome update, girl. Thank you so much for filling us in.
You're welcome.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Give us a rating if you liked it, and catch us on our socials. We are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye guys.